Welcome back to the Whiskey Edition. My name is Rob, and today we're going to look at 5 different ryes that have been put on boats. But first, let's look at what these 5 ryes really are. The first 4 are from Mischief Distilleries in Freemont, Washington. They are the Storm-Tossed Rye series. I suggest you go look at them online. I will post a link. Each one is a separate entity that has been put on a boat and put up into the Bering Sea during fishing season. Much like you see going on behind us here. The Storm-Tossed Ryes. These 4 boats leave out of the Seattle area. The Cornelia Marie with the captains John and Casey. Aging conditions finish the frigid far north, any closer to Russia. And you could see it from their boat. The whiskey might have turned into vodka. The Northwestern boat with Sig Hansen as its captain. You may know him from The Deadliest Catch. Aging condition gave his bow stored barrels a wide ride in the Bering Sea. The Brenna A, captained by Sean Dwyer. The aging conditions for this boat thoroughly stirred and surviving the turbulent conditions of a Bering Sea cyclone. And finally, the Wizard boat, captained by Keith Colburn. The aging conditions of this was the Wizard's engine room kept Keith's barrels cozy from the ice and cold. Once we have a winner from these 4 different storm-tossed ryes, we will put these against the Jefferson Ocean Rye Aged at Sea. This is Voyage 26. The ship's log is on this little tag right here, and it made its way from, I believe, somewhere in Georgia. Georgia? Where did this come from? It went from somewhere in Georgia. Look at the map. It came from somewhere south, through the Panama Canal, into the Pacific Ocean, down into New Zealand, and then Australia, and then up into Indonesia, and then back towards the United States, and then down back through the Panama Canal to its final destination. A very long trip. I didn't put the mileage on like the others. This will be put up against the winner of the Freemont Mischief Storm-Tossed Rye series. Something else about the Storm-Tossed Rye series, it is a competition among the 4 captains to see which of the 4 is the better one. There is an online poll that people have looked at and gone in and said which was their favorite of the 4, or somebody put their favorites of the 4 on there, I'm not sure. So go to that link and you'll see the entire description of how these ryes, these Storm-Tossed Ryes, were actually produced before they went into the casks, and then once they're on the cask, came back and they had a huge party. They tasted all of the different ryes, and all of the proceeds from that went to various charities that the captains came up with. So I think that's a great thing. The 4 bottles in individuals. They're $3.75s, 50% 100 proof. This is the Wizard, the FV Wizard. Cornelia Marie, Brenna, and the Northwestern up against Jefferson Ocean Aged. Oh, I almost forgot to say where this was sourced from. This is Canadian rye. The Storm-Tossed Ryes are produced at Mischief Distilleries in Fremont, Washington. The Jefferson Ocean Aged at Sea Rye double barrel rye whiskey is sourced. It is said to be at least 4, possibly 5 years old, but the tag does not say much other than product of Canada. So it made a little extra journey from Canada down to the distillery in Chestwood, Kentucky. Let's go to the tasting room so we're not in all this weather. And I can get out of the rain. Welcome back. I guess we're in the tasting room now. I have pre-set up the 4 Mischief Distillery storm-tossed ryes. 2 of them will be fresh cracks because during Mark's live stream with the Freemont Mischief crew, the 2 owners, whose names I forgot, but I will put a link to his video somewhere so we can go to that really easily. It was a great time with them. They let me join in, and we tested a couple of these. I think we tested the Wizard and the Northwestern. And so today with the fresh cracks will be the Cornelia Marie and the Brenna A, whose name I screwed up on the previous segment. But I'll get these poured out and we'll get them mixed up on the mixerator, and then we'll do a blind test on them. And then when we get the winner of these, whichever of these 4, we'll compare that to the Jefferson Ocean Rye. So here we go. All right, there we have it, all maybe mixed up. I've got the labels on the bottom so I won't know what's what. We'll go through my right to left, left to right. We'll get some, hopefully some notes in between, some tasting impressions. Since these were tossed at sea, there may be a little bit of kind of sea saltwatery taste to them, but that's what we're gonna find out. So this glass right here, cup number 1. I'll call forward. Take a test. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let them open up. All right, these have probably opened up enough. We'll do the, again, right to left, my right to left, left to right. Do some smelling, and then we'll go into tasting. Oh yeah, these have opened up a lot better. I'm getting a lot of, it is a rye, so it's got a high rye note. Getting some caramel, which, well, maybe a little bit of fruit. Okay. This one isn't as aroma forward as the first one was. It's interesting. That one is so much more forward. Let's try this one. You know, oddly, this one has more, I don't want to say sea smelling saltwater like the sea, because that would be, you know, that may not be right, but it's more so than these 2. It just has a little tinge of the sea to it. Try this last one. This one's more floral than the other 3. So they all have a little bit different profile. This one didn't seem to have as much profile, nosing profile as the other 3. And this one's definitely more floral. All right, let's go in for a taste of this first one. I didn't put it in this one, so I'll be careful. My water as usual. Definitely a rye. It's pretty smooth. It's not too bad. It's got a good finish. Like I said, I had a little bit of a caramel nose, and I think I got that on the back side of it too. So, all right, let's try the second one after a little water. You know, I'm not the guy who's going to be like, oh, I have baking spice and nutmeg, and oh, I get a little bit of clover. I don't have that quite. Just to me, which of these four is going to be the better one, but I do try to do a little bit of justice by doing each one individually and seeing if I can figure out which of the four really, to me, is the better one. Second cup. Again, the rye comes forward. It's got a good finish. It's pretty smooth. I found it to be pretty smooth on the initial palate, and the finish is a little hot. It's not very hot. It's spicy, baking spicy. So, all right, we'll keep that in mind. That's good. This one was the one that maybe had a little more ocean taste to it, maybe a little more seawater came into it. It was pretty smooth, though. You heard me cough. It had a little bite on the end. So that one's not too bad either. This was the fruity one. Hopefully I didn't predispose myself to the fruit. Yeah, this one has a very odd taste to it. It's not a bad taste, it's just a lot different than the other three. That probably came through on the nosing profile. So it's pretty smooth, but it definitely has a flavor to it that's different than the other three. So it'll be interesting to see which one this one was and how its fruit stacked up to the rest of them. All right. Now we'll go back this way. And I'll probably cut some of this out so you don't have to suffer through me not saying much about them. Which of the four is the best? That's tough. Well, this is the oddball. This one is just a unique flavor. That's probably not as great as I would hope for. So between these two is the top of the four for me. I'm going to taste them again. Well, I'm going to put this one in front. This one has a little more bite to it. I'm wondering if they have these three in the order I want them, but we'll go with this order for now, and it could change tomorrow. What is another thing I should do, but I won't on this video, is compare it to the Mischief Distillery John Jacob Rye whiskey. I think this is maybe the base
that is used for these four, and then figure out where they depart from this. So that'll be another time. All right, so let's see which cup is which. Northwest. So the Northwestern Sig Hansen's boat was the first one. Cornelia Marie was my number 2. The Wizard, which leaves Brenna A as the 4th version. So let's see. Brenna A, unique age whiskey notes, citrus, beechwood, and pepper. I think I got the citrus part, that's for sure. Okay, and let's see what barrel aged on the Wizard, Bering Sea, buttercream forward, toasty, nut brittle finish. So what that's, I did say it was a little bit odd. So that was kind of maybe where I was finding that. Unique, definitely. This guy says the Cornelia Marie, creamy and buttery caramel, backs off to a dry tobacco finish. So that's probably what I was feeling on the back end, or tasting on the back end. And then Sig's sweet smoke, warm toasty finish. So that's probably why I found that one to be the better of all of them. So now I'll clear the palate, clear the deck, so to speak, the poop deck, and we'll open up the Ocean Aged Dry from Jefferson. I have to switch to these non-fancy Glencairns because I've only got 4 that match exactly, and all the others I've got are one-off, so can't really do very much of a comparison. What I have found though is if the color is too dissimilar, then that kind of gives it away. So we'll do the best we can. This is a fresh crack of the Jefferson Ocean. Pretty obvious to figure out which was which. Yeah, see, the color is quite a bit different. The Jefferson Ocean, I think, was aged a little bit longer. So we'll just do a quick shuffle after they've opened up. They've opened up. I'll do a shuffle. Which is which. Have a nosing, a little bit of caramel. That's about all I get off of that guy. Let's see about this one. Now this is a lot more rye forward. The proof on the JO. 96 proof, 48% alcohol, and I know that the Storm Tossed are 100 proof, 50%, so pretty close in proof. I'm just getting a lot more notes on this one. I don't know what the notes are, but a lot more complexity, if you will, on this one. I definitely kind of get the candy in it though. I kind of like that. This may be a little more alcohol forward than this one. All right, let's try this again. Spicy. It's got a long palate, long mouthfeel. Still getting a little bit of the candy-ish in there. What I thought was kind of a candy flavor. Okay. oaky. That, or woody, I guess. I can almost tell by tasting the other four that this is probably the Jefferson Ocean because it has that oak flavor in it from being in the cask for a much longer voyage. It's not bad. It's just, you know, maybe a little more powerful. Now that's just a guess, so we'll have to find out. I'll do another taste on that. Remember, it also came from Canada down to, where was it? Crestwood, Kentucky, where it was probably put in the casks before it went to the boats at the port of Savannah. It is interesting, obviously a rye. The first taste I had, I definitely caught the wood on it, maybe not so much on this one. Has a little bit longer mouthfeel, a little lingering to it. You know, there I got some flavor out of it, and because I read the side of the bottle, I now know what that flavor might be. A little bit of what would you call it, predispositioning or something like that, hinting at. I don't smoke, but I definitely think there's some tobacco on the back end there. It's a little more complex. I don't get kind of a casky wood taste, oak taste out of it. So let's see which is which. The first one. Right. Yep, this is the Mischief, which makes this the JO, Jefferson Ocean. And I kind of had that feeling just when I got that initial kick of oak on the back end of the Jefferson Ocean. So I would say that the Mischief from Fremont, storm-tossed Ryes, definitely hold up to the Jefferson Ocean, especially since it's a Canadian rye, which I'm sure are very good. I've got a number of Canadian ryes. We can, if I knew which one it came from, we could do the same kind of thing. We could start with its originator stock, and then see what the additional time in cask does. I think it's pretty unique if you've gone in and read, or you go in and you read what the Voyage 26 ship's log looks like and where all it's been, and I showed that in the previous segment. It definitely took a wild ride all the way around New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, I think maybe up in Japan, across back over the Pacific, down the coast. It may have even come here to, or the Pacific Northwest, and I never would have known. Back down through the Panama Canal and back to the port to be picked up, whereas the storm-tossed Ryes leave out of Ballard, Washington, head for the Bering Sea, probably go up the coast and around over Alaska. They may go straight across, I'm not sure. It seems a little risky, but that's all they do is risk on these kinds of fishing vessels. The Jefferson Ocean, I think, is on some sort of a big liner of some sort, not like a fishing vessel. So it's not going to get tossed as much as the storm-tossed Ryes would be on their fishing vessel. So, in conclusion, I would say if you have the storm-tossed Ryes in your local liquor store or Total Wine or wherever I think they are in Total Wines, maybe pick up a couple and try them together, because that's kind of fun to see what the different profiles turn out like. In the previous video that I did with Mark from Northwest Bourbon, and I think it was the Cornelius Marie and one of the other ones. I think the Cornelius for me was the better one. That was number 2 in this one. Sig's always a star. His comes out first for some reason, but in this case, to me it was the better of the 4. and the better, I think, than the Jefferson Ocean, but that's just me. So anyway, appreciate y'all stopping by, suffering through this hopefully not super long video. I'm gonna try and whack it down a little bit more. And like I always say, pour an extra glass, because you never know who might be stopping by. Cheers.